Hey everything! Hey everyone! So in today's video, we would like to explain you about one of the theories by Carl Jung. Carl Jung is one of the psychoanalysts which is very popular, very famous. First of all, my name is Muhammad Sultan, and why I called me as we, because after this, my friend Ikhwan Rahim will also explain you about the next theories about the Carl Jung. So I would like to explain you about the three levels of the psyche realm by Carl Jung. The first one is consciousness, the second one is the unconsciousness, personal unconsciousness, and the third one is collective unconsciousness. So I try in this video to explain it by my definition, by my own understand, to help you more understand about it. So I will try to relate it with environment around us. The first one is consciousness. The first one is consciousness. What is consciousness? If we look consciousness in bahasa, consciousness means alam sadar, or the things that we do with our intentions, things that we realize that we are going to do it. It means consciousness of human being. So one of the consciousness, the simple example by consciousness, when you are watching this video, when you want to know, when you want to learn what my explanation about Carl Jung theory, is one of the example of consciousness. And also the example of consciousness in Islamic environment, when we want to do obligation in our religions, just like in zakat or in sodako, all of that things is the example of consciousness, because we do with our intentions, because we do with our realize, and we want to do it because we want to obey our God. The second example, that maybe in home environment, when we want to help our father and our mother in do activities, it's also the example of consciousness. And the last one, when in education environment. In education environment, when you want to have a good score in examinations, and you learn and study before the night before, and you want to get the best score in final examination, is also the consciousness, because we are going to have it, we're going to do it, we do it with our intentions. So that's consciousness. Also, the example of consciousness, when you are watching this video, maybe you remember your girlfriend or your boyfriend, so that's also the consciousness. The next one is personal unconsciousness. Personal unconsciousness, also if we look in bahasa or in dictionary, it means that alam bawah sadar. So the things that we need to remember it, or like we already studied, the things that we don't want to remember, just like the traumatic events or everything that you don't want to remember, but actually you can't forget it, it's also put in personal unconsciousness. Just like the example, I'm sorry if we get the sexual abuse when we were a child, it's also in personal unconsciousness. Also when we got bullied, when we got bullied by our friends in senior high school or junior high school, it's also the example of personal unconsciousness. So it differs than consciousness, because in consciousness we can remember it easily because we want to remember that, but in personal unconsciousness it's more about the things that you want to forget it, but actually we can forget it. Okay, the last one is collective unconsciousness. Collective unconsciousness means, as my understanding, it's from the eldest. So one group by other group has a different collective unconsciousness, but in one group usually has the same collective unconsciousness, because it came from one, and that is eldest from the past. So the example, when we know that the instinct or the feeling by mother in caring and loving her children, it's also one of the collective unconsciousness. We can explain it somehow it happened, but yeah, it's actually happened in our culture. And the others one, maybe just we know how teachers are also carrying their students is also one of the collective unconsciousness. It's just like the feeling when you want to carrying someone, and it's your obligation, and it's your responsible, and you don't know what is the reason of that, but you still do it. Okay, that is three levels of the Psyche realm by Carl Jung. So after this, my friend Ihwanur Rohim will explain you about the archetype, the shadow, persona, anima and animus and others. So pay attention for that.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ihwanur Rohim, and in this occasion I would like to explain about the four Jungian archetypes. Archetype are a concept introduced by the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, who believed that archetypes were models of people, behaviors, or personalities. Archetypes were inborn tendencies that play a role in influencing human behavior. Archetype is a result of our collected experience in understanding the world. For the example, our knowledge about the sunset, the sunrise, the existence of season, mom and dad, danger, happiness, and etc. In Jungian psychology, the archetype represent universal patterns and images that are part of the collective unconscious. Jung believed that we inherit this archetype much the way we inherit instinctive patterns of behavior. Where do these archetypes came from? Archetype came from the collective unconscious. Jung believed that each archetype played a role in personality, but he felt that the most people were dominated by one specific archetype. The actual way in which an archetype is expressed or realized depends on a number of factors, including an individual cultural influence and unique personal experience. Jung identified major archetypes, but also believed that there was no limit to the number that may exist. Let's discuss the four main archetypes described by Jung and also the example of each archetype. The first one is persona. Persona is how we present ourselves to the world. Persona represent all of the different social masks that we wear in several situations and various groups. It acts to shield the ego from negative image. Over the course of development, children learn that they must behave in certain ways in order to fit in with society's expectations and norms. For example, we want to be seen as a generous person, so we tend to act generous by giving alms because we want to look generous. The persona archetype allows people to adapt to the world around them and fit in with society which they live. However, becoming too closely identified with this archetype could lead people to lose sight of their true self. The second one is shadow. The shadow is a part of unconscious mind. It's composed of repressed ideas, weakness, desire, instinct, and shortcoming. This archetype contains all of the things that are unacceptable not only to the society but also to the one's own personal morals and values. It might include things such as envy. The third is anima and animus. The anima is a feminine image in the male psyche, and an animus is a male image in the female psyche. The anima or animus represent the true self rather than the image we present to others and serve as the primary source of communication with the collective unconscious. Jung believed that psychological change as well as social influence contribute to the development of gender roles and identity. In many cultures, however, men and women are encouraged to adopt traditional and often rigid gender roles. Jung suggested that this discouragement of men exploring their feminine aspect and women exploring their masculine aspect served to undermine psychological development. And the last is the self. The self is an archetype that represents the unified, unconscious, and conscious of an individual. Creating the self occurs through a process known as individuation, in which the various aspects of personality are integrated. The self archetype represents the unified psyche as a whole. Jung suggests that there were two different centers of personality. The ego makes up the center of unconsciousness, but it is the self that lies at the center of personality. Personality encompasses not only consciousness, but also the ego and the unconscious mind. You can think of this by imagining a circle with a dot right at the center. The entire circle makes up the self, while the small dot in the middle represents the ego.
Thank you very much for watching this video. I really would like to ask you and your family and your friends to stay safe and stay healthy. Ask your family to wash their hands frequently so we can through all of these conditions in better conditions. And to my lecturer, I really thank you very much, Mr. Kiki, for your knowledge and your passion for us. I really hope we can meet in the next semester. And for my friends, thank you very much for one class in this semester. I really hope you also happy just like me. And I do apologize for my mistakes. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.